Mr. Avant, you petitioned the court for a DNA test to determine if you are the father of your ex-fiancée, Miss Hatton's 13-month-old daughter, Jamethia. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
You're certain Miss Hatton has been deceiving you for over 2 years, and your biggest fear is that today you will walk out of this court without a daughter.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Miss Hatton, you are positive Mr. Avant is Jamethia's father and are hoping the DNA results will piece your family back together.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Avant, how have your doubts affected your family?
It has affected my family tremendously, Your Honor. Me and Miss Hatton was engaged to get married. We eventually called it off. I'm connected to Jamethia like no other way. I have her name tattooed on my right arm on the inside of it. I've been in Jamethia's life since she's been born. When Miss Hatton told me she was pregnant, I asked her then, are you sure?
No, he did not.
I did too.
He didn't.
She stated yes. Who else would it be? Me and Miss Hatton eventually moved in together, and when we was living together, I started hearing stuff that it may not be mine. There's a possibility it could be somebody
Not
else's.
true.
And I've heard this personally from her family.
Someone in her family told
Yes.
you that Jamethia may not be your child?
Yes.
Who in my family would say something like that?
I was told that it was a possibility that she might have had sex with somebody else.
Oh,
I also found messages in
Not
her
true.
phone showing that she was talking to her ex and telling him that they was gonna be together, she loved him. So this is an issue for me, because we're constantly going back and forth where she's talking to her ex and he is thinking that the baby is his. And at the same time, you're telling me that the baby is
Your
mine.
Honor, that is not even how.
We're living together as well, Your Honor, and she's telling me that why am I worried about the situation when I found the text messages and I questioned her about it.
He did not question me.
And
about
Miss
the
Hatton
text
said,
message.
why are you worried about the messages? I lay with you every night. And I
No,
said, yeah,
that
this is true.
that is not even
But at
how
the
this
same
came
time that you're
about.
laying
Not
with
at
me every
all.
night, you're telling him
Not at all.
that
Your
y'all are
Honor.
going to be together, that you love him.
Your Honor, that is not even how this
Okay,
went.
let me give you a chance to respond, Miss Hatton. You're saying that none of what he's saying is true.
Right.
And what's the truth as it...
When it came up to me being pregnant, I lived with my aunt. Jamal came over that day because we took multiple tests to figure out, okay, I am pregnant.
This other guy, was he in the picture?
No, he wasn't in the picture. He was around asking about the baby. Are you guys gonna let me come and actually go to the doctor since this is a possibility that I could be the father of her?
And how did you respond?
I told him I would talk to Jamal about it. Whenever I talked to Mr.
That's not
Avant
true, Your
about
Honor.
it, he would go off about it. He was like, he doesn't need to be here.
Let me understand this. Now you're standing in court and you're saying you are 100% sure that Mr. Avant is
Yes,
Jamethia's
Your Honor,
father.
I am.
How are you 100% sure if you
last-
admit that there was another man involved?
Yes, the other man that was involved, me and him hadn't had unprotected sex since September. Me and Mr. Avant had, the first time we had sex was in October.
Was the 11th
And-
of October to be exact. And when we had sex on the 11th of October, at that time, we did have unprotected sex.
Yes, we did.
A couple of weeks later, Mrs. Hatton is saying that she's pregnant.
Mr. Avant was on the phone with me when I found out I was pregnant. He was the first person to know about it.
And so, okay. So, Mr. Avant, at what point did you really begin to doubt?
I started to doubt in the beginning, and then I started to doubt more after I started hearing stuff from her family saying that she's not trustworthy, that some of the stuff she say is not true. It came up a point that the doctor, the first OBGYN, had gave us a first due date. That first due date was July around the 14th. She ended up switching OBGYNs and going into a new one. The new OBGYN said the date was gonna be August 25th.
That is
That's
so
a
not
whole
true.
5-week window.
Not even true.
Wow, you got two
I had
different due dates
yes,
that far
yes,
apart?
but on the birth certificate, my daughter was born July the 16th. Now, my mom said,
I
give or
also
take
have
days
evidence of that.
of it.
Let me see that evidence. Jerome, will you pass that to me, please? So let me understand your evidence. You have presented a calendar to the court that shows what the first due date
calendar
was supposed to
doesn't
be.
even
It was supposed to be
coincide with
July
anything.
16th.
Correct.
And then you say the due date was revised
To the 25th,
to the 25th
of July.
of August.
It was
That is
revised to
completely
the
off.
25th of August.
That is completely off.
The new OBGYN also explained that your conception date didn't add up as well.
No, she said
So
my
the
the estimated date that I put as my last menstrual period changed my due date from the 14th of July to the 25th.
Hold on, let me figure this out with my conception calculator. When do you believe you conceived Jamethia? What date?
In October, around like the 13th. It was weeks before my birthday because he said that he wanted me to spend my birthday with him.
And so you think you conceived on October 13th?
Yes.
And
All
if
right.
she conceived on October 13th, it takes
Somewhere in
7
that area.
days for the sperm to reach the
Not
egg,
the
to
exact
fertilize.
day, not October 13th, the exact
It takes
day.
a total of 7 days to conceive. if I'm not
Okay,
mistaken.
it does,
Okay.
but if we
Do
had
you,
unprotected
okay,
sex
listen.
on the 13th,
listen,
there is a possibility
Mr. Avant,
that
do
your child.
you remember being intimate with Miss Hatton around October 13th?
I had sex with Miss Hatton on the 11th of October. I know for a fact.
On the 11th?
Yes.
All
How do
right,
you know
so
that
she
for a
remembers
fact?
the
I
13th.
got paid from work the exact same day. that they
Okay,
made
what does
her
that have
have
to do
sex.
with anything?
I mean, I can
That
add
has
my
nothing
dates
to do with
up
nothing.
because at the same time,
That has nothing
me
to
and
do with
her
nothing.
went out. I ordered food for us when she came over that day. She spent the majority of the day with me on the
Okay,
11th
that has
and went
nothing to do
home
with
that
nothing.
night, and I paid for her to get on the bus that night to go back to her auntie's house.
So if we hit calculate, you get the birth date should be July 16th, 2014. When was Jamethia born?
That
July
exact same
16th,
day.
2014, I have her birth certificate. Would you like to see it, Your
Yes,
Honor?
I would.
She was born July 16, 2014. She was also born around that time because we was trying to break Mrs. Hatton water to go ahead and get Jamethia's hair. And what I mean by we was trying to break her water, we was having sex. She tried castor oil. She was eating spicy food. I even scraped the cervix to try to break
Not
her
true.
water.
Not true, Your Honor.
This is true.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell.
The day that she went into labor, she woke me up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I jumped up instantly, and we went to the hospital. And then at the hospital, we was informed, yes, you are really in labor. Her doctor even came in and said, well, I guess your labor is going to be early. I guess we won't have to wait.
No, she did not say that my labor was going to be early. She said, okay, she's about to come. My doctor didn't even come in to actually deliver my child until my child was almost here. It was Mr. Avant and another nurse that stood there the whole time coaching me until my doctor arrived in the room.
Really, it was me that was coaching, Your Honor. Every time she would have a contraction, I would tell Mrs. Hatton to push so we can go ahead and get Jamethia here.
Yes, he did do that.
All right, so first of all, this evidence you presented is the birth certificate.
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
And she was born on the 16th of July.
Yes, Your Honor.
So that's your proof.
Yes.
The conception date matches the due date.
Yes, Your Honor.
If we look at your calendar, Mr. Avant, you think that her revised due date was still the 25th.
Correct.
And you feel like the castor oil, all of the
Experiments
maneuvers
we
you
was
were
doing.
doing to try to get the baby to come
Nothing was working.
made the baby come quicker.
Yes.
So
Not
you
true, Your
believe
Honor.
she really wasn't due until
August.
August.
Not true, Your Honor. My daughter got the 25th due date because she was small. The time I was 6 months, my daughter only weighed 3 pounds. So they told me, okay, we're gonna have to give you an emergency C-section if your daughter doesn't gain any weight. They switched my due date to the 25th because they said that she was too small to be the size that she needed to be during the window that she was supposed to be born. She gained the weight that she needed by the time that I went back to the doctor, and I was able to continue out carrying her through the full term.
What's
Again-
interesting as well is you handed up the birth certificate and his name is on it.
He actually, Your Honor,
I
he
filled
filled
out all
out the
the
birth
paperwork.
certificate himself. I didn't see the birth certificate until I purchased it.
Your
Mr.
Honor, that's not
Avant
true.
signed it.
Because
he,
when
he
Ms.
wrote it out, everything.
When the paperwork was presented to us for the birth certificate and also for the legitimization paperwork, I asked Ms. Hatton, did you want to fill it out or do you want me to?
At this
She
time, I
"You
said
can
I
go
will
ahead."
let my aunt fill it out. He said, no,
She
I
said,
want to
either
fill it
you
out.
can fill it out or I can let my auntie fill it out when she come back up.
No, I did not.
And so I filled it out.
But if you had a doubt, why sign?
Exactly. Why sign the birth certificate? Why
Because
did you get
I
her
was-
name tattooed on you? Why have you been here this whole time? In the beginning,
Because
Your
I've
Honor, I
been
told him
connected
from
to
day one,
Jamethia.
if he
It's
felt like it
not
wasn't
about-
his, he didn't
now
have
it's
to
not
be
about
there.
me and Miss Hatton. It's about Jamethia.
It is.
I've been in Jamethia's life before she was born, and I'm still here. I'm connected to Jamethia, so it's gonna be hard for me to leave Jamethia. She had a friend take a picture of our daughter. When she was sitting in her car seat, she was smiling, cheesing real hard. He did a picture as well with him smiling and cheesing real hard and posted it. What do you think about my baby?
No, that is not
It
what
got
he
a
said.
lot of likes
No,
on
no,
Instagram.
no,
It
no,
did.
no. That is not what
To
he
the
said.
point where Miss Hatton told me when I got home, and I said,
Jamal
and I
was sitting
spazzed, and I
right
said,
there in the
why?
house.
No,
One at a time, one at
I
a
had
time.
just got
So
home
you
from
see
work.
this photo on Instagram.
He
It's
doesn't
getting a
see
lot
it.
of likes. And it's the baby you have signed the birth certificate.
Yes.
It's
And
your
another
child, your legal child.
Yes.
Whether or not it's your biological child or not.
Yes.
You're looking at your baby, Jamethia,
Yes.
and another man.
Yes, Your Honor.
And he's saying, what do you think about my baby?
Yes,
No,
Your
that
Honor.
is not
And
what
the
the picture stated.
The pictures
comment
got a
under
lot
the
of
picture
likes.
are saying, do they look alike? A lot of people said, well, they look like this because
No,
they're
not a
both
lot of
this.
people.
A lot of people
Majority.
said, no, they do not look alike, but she looks exactly like him.
But why, Miss Hatton, why would you let someone post
I
that
didn't
picture?
let anybody post
She
the
did,
picture.
Your Honor.
When
And as
they
a matter
posted
of fact,
the picture, me and
that's
Mr.
not true.
Avant were sitting at home on the sofa. He was like, hey, what you looking at? I said, I'm looking at this. I said, look at this. Look what he posted on Instagram. He
And
was
I
like,
spazzed,
really?
Your Honor.
Why are you letting him do that? Why are you letting him do that? I
'Cause
told
what-
him to take it down.
What is
he
the
said
purpose?
is Jamal shouldn't be so insecure when he knows it's his baby, is what he said.
What is the purpose?
They look exactly
regardless
alike.
of whether the fact that's my
Everything
baby or
about
not.
them looks just
What
alike.
is the
Your Honor,
purpose?
can I show
One at a
you?
time. Just, I need
Can I
you
show
all
you
to
the
talk
picture?
one at a time.
Yes, Your Honor. I do apologize.
Your Honor, may I please show you the evidence of Mr.
Did anybody hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Because I can't hear both of you when you're talking at one time, and I'm trying to understand the evidence you want to present.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you're saying you saw this picture,
Yes, Your Honor.
and she did ask this person to take it down.
After I got upset, Your Honor. When I got upset and said something about it, because why is he posting a picture of my baby and him side by side and he's done nothing for her? This is not a funny situation to me. I'm already having problems with is you and your ex saying that it might be his. Now it's another dude and he got a picture and they look similar. I can't deny it.
They
If you look at the
nothing
picture,
alike.
from the cheekbones to the nose, even people that commented said the same thing.
Jamithia.
I have my reason for having doubts, Your Honor.
When you're in a committed relationship with somebody or you're engaged to them or you are about to marry this person, there's no need for you to get a DNA test every time you have a child if you feel like it's yours.
No, you're right. There's no need. Ms. Hatton is right. There's no need to have a DNA test every time you have a child. But there is a need to have a DNA test when you're not sure and you're telling other people that they're possibly liable to be the father.
Okay, I already
at the
understood
same-
that. I already told him that from the beginning.
But I was over the road late February, early March. I'm a truck driver. When I was over the road, Mrs. Hatton took our daughter, Jamithia, to see her ex.
No, I did
The
not,
other
Your
dude
Honor.
who's supposed to be the dad. How do I know this? Because I heard it from the cow's mouth himself. He called me and said this.
No, that is not true. That is definitely not true.
And said
So you
she
didn't
brought
take the
Excuse me.
child to see?
No, I did not take her to see him. Him and his best friend came to my house because he said, I wanted to see her. Since nobody
That's not
got
true,
their
Your Honor.
DNA test together.
That's not true, Your Honor.
It
The
is.
truth
It
of the
is.
story, a friend of hers had came around and spent time with them. Her and the girl eventually went over to this dude's neighborhood and seen him. And he said, and this is what he told me. He said, why are you bringing her to see me now? And you ain't brought her by and she done been alive this whole time. So
Your
why
Honor,
are
this
you
is
taking,
not true.
first and foremost, why are you taking her over there behind my back? You could have took her over there when I was home. You could
So
have.
you believe she was sneaking around once you were on the road, taking Jamithia to see another potential father.
Correct.
You say that's not true. You say they came over to your house to see the baby.
Yeah, they came over my house. He said, okay, so when are we gonna get this DNA test done? Since Mr. Avant contacted him, they spent hours on the phone. Him and Jamithia look just alike. I have evidence here to show that they look just alike.
Let me see that evidence.
From the way that they smile, they have the same dimples, everything.
This is a
Their
picture
hairline
of what?
looks just
Please
alike.
tell me, Miss Hatton.
Of Mr. Avant and Jamithia. They look exactly alike. Overall, everything.
It's a picture of Mr. Avant on the left and Jamithia on the right.
Yes, Mr. Avant has dimples and so does Jamithia. And those are a picture of their ears, which I never really paid attention to till we took the picture of it. And their hairlines.
I have-
When Mr. Avant let
have
his
a
hair
receding
grows
hairline,
out,
Your Honor,
he
so-
does have a receiving hairline just like my daughter. From the way that it curves all the way out to the way that it goes in on both sides. It's exactly alike.
So when you look at these pictures and you look at them,
I see
you have
Mr.
no doubt.
None. None whatsoever.
You know that's his child.
Yes, ma'am.
When you look at the pictures, Mr. Avant, are you certain?
I'm not, Your Honor. I feel, and like I told Ms. Hatton from the beginning, I've said she's mine. I've never denied that she was mine. But seeing things and hearing things, it makes you question and it makes you wonder. And it makes you want to really know the answers and the truth.
You say your greatest fear is you leave this courtroom today without a daughter because you love this little girl.
Yes, that's true.
So if you're not Jamithia's biological father, will you stay in the child's life or will you just move on?
At this time, Your Honor, I honestly can say I'm not sure. It's gonna hurt me if she's not mine. But it's also a ripple effect because now I have to go back to my son and tell him, you ain't got a sister. You still the only child. I now have to also sit back and, you know what I'm saying, my parents are not gonna say nothing, but they're gonna be supportive because now I know the truth.
I think it's time for the results. Jerome? These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Avant versus Hatton, pertaining to 13-month-old Jamethia Avant, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Avant, you are not Jamethia's father. I'm very sorry, Mr. Avant.
Nah, man, it's not all right.
Yes, it
I've
is.
been there.
It's all right.
It hurt.
It's all right. I'm sorry. I don't want to see you cry. I don't want to see you hurt. Nothing like that. We both knew that this
Yeah,
could
we spoke
possibly
about
be
this,
it.
but the truth is, though, at the same time, you kept saying, yes, this is your baby.
In my mind, it was no doubt about it. But at the same time, you knew how everything started and where it ended at.
But Ms. Hatton, you did stand in court today and say you are 100%
Yes,
sure.
Yes, ma'am, I did.
I think that gave him a false sense of security. Ms. Hatton, Jamethia's biological father, do you know who it is?
Mm-hmm. The only other person that we were talking about in this situation.
Do they want to be a part of her life?
I'm not sure.
Okay. And that's what's unfortunate, because you have a man here that came into court hoping that he was this child's father, signed the birth certificate, has been there for her, loves her. Mr. Avant, is it your intention to still be a part of her life?
Yes, I don't know, Your Honor.
Mr. Runnles, you claim a lifelong medical condition led you to believe you would never be a father. That was until the birth of your daughter, Ireland, who you claim is your miracle baby. But now the defendant says you are not the father. You are here to prove that miracles really do happen. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Taylor, you say it breaks your heart to stand in court to prove that Mr. Runles is not Ireland's daddy, as you wish in your heart he were. But you say the truth is another man is her biological father. Mr. Runles, why is this test so important to you?
This test is so important to me. For me to be able to have a daughter, it's a miracle.
Having Ireland.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Ms. Taylor,
Yes, Your Honor.
you say you want that miracle too.
Yes, I
But
do.
you just don't believe
No, I don't.
this is the case.
Not in my heart.
Tell the
no.
court.
Well, he has a, like, I don't know what it's called.
Called a hypospadias.
Okay, can you describe that for the court?
All it is it's where the hole in the penis is in the wrong spot.
Okay.
Instead of being up top, it's more towards the bottom of the head. The doctor just said that it's a big possibility that I may never be able to have kids if the surgeries don't take.
Oh, and
I've
so
had-
you actually had surgeries for
Yes,
this
I've had
condition?
like 4.
You have?
Yeah.
To try to correct this particular
Yeah.
condition?
And none of them's worked. It's all closed back up and the original hole opened back up.
But he was never
Okay.
physically told
The
by
lab.
the hospital or a doctor that he wasn't able to have kids either.
Yeah, it wasn't
But
a
you believe...
for sure thing.
Right, but you were told that it could potentially be a complication.
Oh, yes.
All right, and so, Ms. Taylor, you were well aware of this.
Yes.
How long have you all been together?
We've been together almost 4 years.
All right, so you were in a long-standing relationship.
We tried for a good 2 years and nothing was happening. We were talking about, going into adoption if it didn't happen, to try to, get a kid, because we really do want to start a life together. We want to have our own little family and, get out in the world. We had unprotected sex, and we tried for so many times to have it. Nothing was working. So then I decided to go and do something different. And
Wait, what did you do? You have to be specific in court.
I had went and cheated on him with a guy I had actually known for a little while.
That's funny because that ain't what you would told me.
Oh, it is not?
No.
What did she tell you, Mr. Ronald?
Her original story when I found out, because like I said, like this is a miracle baby to me. This is, bottom line is this don't work. If this is not my kid, I gotta go. There's not no more to it.
When you found out you were pregnant, who did you tell? The other guy you were pregnant, or did you tell Mr. Ronald?
I told them both, actually. I told the other guy on Facebook that I might be pregnant. It could be his baby. And I told him too.
But did you tell Mr. Ronald you cheated?
No, man.
No, I did not. He found out physically on my Facebook.
I had to hack her Facebook and find out by myself.
And so what did you see?
The very first message that popped up was her telling the other dude that it might be his, or it's more than positive his kid.
Oh my goodness.
And like it hurt. It was so bad. Like I felt like I had a heart attack. I was shaking so bad. And I mean, every time I get to still thinking about it, like right now, my knees are just shaking because it just hurts so bad to know that.
Because up until that point, you believed
my
you
God.
were the
Yeah,
father,
yeah.
and this was your miracle
And I mean,
child.
legally, I am the father. Legally, right now, I am the father.
How far along was she when you found out, or was baby Ireland already here when you broke into
We,
I was about 22 weeks when he found out I was
yeah,
when
we,
I found out
I
had
was through
cheated
the
and he
hospital
possibly could not-
appointments, all the pregnancy, ran her bath when she needed it. I went to the store when she wanted something, you know, I was there.
And so at 22 weeks, you find this out, and yet you still stick by her,
Yes.
and you stick by the baby.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you are there.
Yes, Your Honor.
And are you there when baby Ireland is born?
Yes, Your Honor, I was at the hospital. The other guy was not, by our choice. But I requested to have a DNA test done at the hospital. But I left for 10 minutes to go outside, get some fresh air or whatever. And I came back up and, you know, talked to Miss Taylor to see if she had talked to the doctors about getting one done. And she said no, that she wasn't going to do it. When we got home, I was like, why? And she was like, because I don't want you to leave me.
Okay.
He's telling the truth. Yes, he is. I want to have the best for her that I can provide for her. If I can't do it, then I want the father to do it.
That's why I hyphenated the last name too.
Yeah.
Just in case, you know, she's not my kid. And, you know, legally, I'm still on the birth certificate and I'm not going to be taken off of it unless she decides to take me off of it.
So
Even
you
though
are
I
her-
knew that, you know, there was a possibility still in my heart that I knew there was a possibility that she wasn't mine.
You are her legal father.
Yes, yes.
You are here today to determine if you are her biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Why is it so important to you to establish that you were also the biological father?
I've never fully gotten into my medical disorder. You know, I've never fully looked into it. I've never made myself 100% aware of exactly what was going on. You know, in my heart, knowing for so long that I've never had a kid, I've been trying to have a kid since I've been 18 years old. And, you know, it's just something I need to know.
And so Ireland is 8 months old.
Yes, ma'am.
Has it affected your ability to bond with her?
Sometimes it does feel a little wrong to be trying to bond with a kid that may not be mine. But like I said, I've been there, you know, her whole life.
I always
And it
get
just-
worried that he's going to leave me because you never know. You know, he's been there this whole time.
But you now fear that Mr. Runles will leave.
Yeah, because when
Oh, no, it's gonna happen. I mean, if she's not mine, I gotta go. You know, it's just bottom line.
You positive. You're done if this is not.
Yes.
You cannot stay in this relationship
No.
if Ireland is not your biological daughter.
It'll cause too many problems. And,
So a lot is on the line.
oh, yes, definitely.
I have evidence here. I don't know.
I'd like to see that. What is the evidence state?
There's an ultrasound in there, and it was 22 weeks. It shows the baby's features, about how she looks. And the thing that gets me is I don't really see him so much in Ireland as I do, like, I see the other guys, like, forehead, the ears, the chin and stuff.
I'm sorry,
But what
but she has
gets
my
me
big ears.
is
So these are
she has
pictures
eyes.
of these are pictures of Ireland.
Yeah, that was at 22 weeks. You could see the features. That was a 3D ultrasound and a 4D one combined. That's when I started to think that he wasn't the father. So I left it as that, and I didn't want to tell him because I liked the way it was. I was happy with the way we were living life. And
the other guy does not believe he can be the father either?
no, he doesn't. He don't want nothing. He don't even want nothing to do with her.
He goes back and forth, Your Honor. I'm not even gonna lie. I've heard over the last couple of months different things. You know, he was wanting to, and then he didn't want to, and then other people tell him that you know, he needs
What
to
was
get
your
it looked at.
relationship like with this other guy?
Well, we only known each other for like almost a year. And then he came over one night and wanted to hang out. We hung out, and it led into more than that. A week later, I took a pregnancy test. They both came up positive. And I told him not to get his hopes up on the first one because I didn't want to have him go thinking, oh yeah, I'm having a baby, you know, and then I go to the hospital and I find out it's
Before
not
we get into that,
the
that's kind of
baby.
funny how Miss Taylor says that he came over because her whole story to me was she met him out at the park and they went out to the woods to
We met
have
at
their
at the park and we had went back to my house.
But
Oh.
yeah, you just said he came over to the house. He
So
came
you're
over.
getting new information today?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So you were told,
I was told that it happened outside of my house in a park somewhere outside.
I told him that.
you did?
Yes, I
But
did.
in actuality, this man
Actually,
was
in
in
my
your
house,
home.
in
Yes.
my bed.
Since we're telling the truth now,
Right.
the truth,
Right.
was this really a one-night stand?
It
or
really was.
did it happen more than once?
It was honestly my right hand to God. It was only one time one time only, and that's the only time we ever had it. And then she happened. I just don't understand, like, I'm confused about her a little bit because I don't know, her eyes match his,
It's like,
but me and
like I
him
said,
had brown
she looks
eyes.
just like me. Look at her. Butt
She
chin,
had-
my big old elephant ears,
Him when
And
he was
this
a
is
kid.
Ireland.
smile,
You believe she looks like you.
100%.
So, Miss Taylor, does she also look like the other guy to you?
Yes, Your Honor, she does.
She
has
does
his-
have some of his features.
I want to dig into this medical condition because I want to learn more about it. Before I do, Ms. Taylor, can you please explain to the court your issue with the timeline? You say this is also a point of confusion, the timeline.
Me and the other guy had an intercourse on the 26th of December of 2015. And when we did that, a week later, like January 1st, on my mom's birthday, as a matter of fact, I found out that I was pregnant. And it wasn't, it didn't add up to me because I thought it took a month. You had to be pregnant a month before your missed period in order for you to be pregnant.
So you're saying you had just had sex with the other guy 4 or 5 days before you found out you were pregnant.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you thought maybe I was already pregnant.
Yes.
And that would have been by Mr. Runles.
Right.
But because of the medical condition, you thought that's why you don't know.
Yeah, because I don't want to say that it is his kid, and I don't want her growing up like I did. I grew up with no father, so I want her to have the best future she can have. I don't want my daughter to have no father, and I want the best for her. I want her to have an outstanding childhood. I want her to go to college, graduate, everything. But she can't do that without having her father. She needs a father to be able to have a shoulder to cry on when mommy's not around. I just feel like if she actually know who her real dad is, when she gets 18, she won't hate me as much either. Because she'll be like, well, at least you went up to court, you did all this for me, you went and did a DNA to prove to me that, to show me who the real father was. And that's what I want. I just want to make sure that she can have the best childhood she can ever possibly have.
Miss Taylor, I must say to you, what I just heard was not a woman trying to save her relationship, but I just heard a mother trying to save her daughter. The bravery you're showing right now is even beyond your mistakes. You want your child to have the best.
Yes.
And you're willing to put yourself on the line,
Yes.
your comfort,
Yes.
your life with this man to get her the answer she needs.
Yes.
And that's what being a mother is.
I'll drop everything for her. I love her.
That's what being a mother is. You put your child before yourself. So we have a timeline issue and a medical issue.
Yes.
Right.
We now understand the timeline issue. I want to further understand the medical issue. So I've asked Dr. Brown Parks to join us today. Jerome, will you please escort the doctor into the courtroom? I'd like to ask her some questions about your medical condition.
It's fine.
So that we can further understand. Hello, doctor.
Good morning, Judge.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Mr. Runles says he has a condition called hypospadias. He was told by medical professionals that it may affect his ability to have children. Can you further explain this condition?
Definitely. So hypospadias, and I brought the visual for you, is an opening of the urethra in the incorrect position. So on a normal penis, the tip of the penis is where the urethra comes out. In our patient's case, his is a little bit lower. So hypospadias can come in all sorts of varieties. And usually with surgery, it's completely corrected.
After I was like 15, I think, and the doctor was like, you know what, you're old enough. You can decide whether you want to have another one later in life or not. And you know what, I was, at that point, after I've had 4 or 5 surgeries, I was just like, I'll let God take care of it.
So he's saying that his surgeries were not successful.
Correct. And so not being successful doesn't necessarily affect his fertility. He still can have a good urine stream, and that's really a good test of the track of the semen. So given the fact that he has normal testicles from reviewing his case, that's where the sperm are produced, and the outflow track takes the same outflow track as urine.
So this does not necessarily preclude him from being able to father a child,
Not at all.
which is pretty much what you were told.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor. I mean, you know, it's like I said, they never gave me a 50-50 or a 60-40 or a 70-30. It was just a chance that it may not or may happen.
Very interesting testimony. Thank you, doctor. You're welcome. So, Ms. Taylor, after hearing the doctor's testimony, does this give you any further hope that maybe Ireland is Mr. Runnels' biological child?
There's always a chance for everything in life. So it'd be a miracle for him and make his life so much better to complete him.
Well, I have to say, despite everything that has transpired, you all have truly done the very best you can.
Yes.
To try to make sure this beautiful, innocent young girl has a good start to her life.
Amen.
So let's get the answers we came here for.
Yes, Your Honor.
And let's hope that we can continue to do that with the truth as a foundation. Jerome, I'm ready for the results. Thank you.
You're welcome.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Runles versus Taylor, when it comes to 8-month-old Ireland Taylor Runles, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Runles, you are her father.
Yes. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
That's awesome.
It is.
Oh, it is a
Made me
miracle,
nervous
baby.
for a minute. That's
It really is his baby.
great.
It's a miracle, baby.
Yes, she is.
It's gonna help our relationship out.
Gonna have our own
It's
little
gonna help
family.
my relationship with Ireland a lot more than it already is.
Well, you've been there for her from the beginning,
Yes, I have.
and you've given her your name.
Yes.
You are her legal father,
Yes.
and you are her biological father.
Thank you.
And so I'm so very happy for you both. I hope this is now that last piece of truth you needed to have
Our family.
a family,
It's
the
definitely-
foundation
Our
of your
family.
family. And I wish you all the very, very best of luck taking care of that beautiful little girl.
Thank you
Thank
so
you, Your
much,
Honor.
Your Honor.
Thank you. You've warmed my heart today. Court is adjourned.
Thank you.